Thank you very much, Peter. And thank you very much, everybody who's here. And to the OSEA, particularly for arranging this debate or discussion. The benefit or the disadvantage of coming last is that you can adopt the position of those judges, the lazy judges who, you know, sit under their wigs, and after their comrades have made their judgments, they say, well, I've listened to everything that my comrades have said, and I have nothing useful to add. Of course, the situation is made worse by Businje, who took all the good things that I taught him, has reproduced them here, and left me with nothing more to say. But I wanted to start by agreeing, you may find this very odd, agreeing with Morrison, that Angelo's title is wrong, in the sense that he's calling for a crisis, and to say and emphasize that I think we are already in one. The crisis is already here. And the nature of the crisis, for me, actually goes much further than the way in which Businje has laid it out. I think we're facing a crisis of constitucide. Constitucide. What is constitucide? You've heard of infanticide. You've heard of suicide. Infanticide is when a mother kills her son or daughter. Okay? What we are witnessing in Uganda today is the progressive slaughter, the murder, the massacre of the 1995 Constitution. The basic structure, excuse me, on which the 1995 Constitution was constructed, the structure of addressing the past of conflict, of necessitating the movement towards more unity, of addressing corruption and militarism. Today, we are seeing all of those being whittled away. And so for me, it is the constitucide, the death, really, the death of constitutionalism that we are confronting in Uganda today. That is the problem. So we don't have to, Angelo, wait until 2022. We are in it right now. What did the Baganda say? Tulimu. Tulimu. We're in the thing now. All right? And you can see manifestations of this all over the place. Kadaga versus Mbabazi, Nantaba versus Kaihura, Odoki versus Ogola, Mwasa versus the goat herds, and so on and so forth. And what does this reflect? It reflects the fact that we will not have an oil curse here, but we shall continue with the governance curse, because that is what is the problem. The problem is a governance curse. It is not an oil curse. Even if now bananas, matoke, was to become the most demanded commodity in the world, Ugandans would find a way of causing a problem around matoke. Corruption around matoke. We would have a matoke curse. And I'm saying that unless we address these issues, we are going to have serious problems. And I just want to recap and talk about three things. One, oil, of course, will be shaped by politics. Angelo makes that point very, very much and very well. And I believe that although Angelo maybe alluded to the fact that in 2022, President Museveni will not be around, how old is President Museveni now? Officially? 69. Unofficially? 82. But anyway, regardless of his actual age, in 10 years' time, he can still do a Mugabe. And I am telling you that in the spirit of constitucide, the next constitutional change that we are going to see is the elimination of age limits, to remove the barrier to standing at the age of 75 for a president. And I'm telling you this in all seriousness. When I predicted that term limits would be the first thing to go, people said, you are just a critic and have nothing useful to add. I'm telling you that this age limit is going to go There is no Muhozi, what do they call it, project? The project is Museveni, to succeed Museveni. And with that, certainly we shall enter an even other further stage of constitution. The second thing that oil will be shaped by is culture. We haven't spoken about culture here, but what is the culture that we have built? And when I talk about culture, I don't mean just the culture amongst us, because for us we are passé. I think everybody here is above 21 years, or at least above 18 years of age. What culture are we building for our children? Because that is where the real crisis is going to be. Because the children follow what their elders do. And we are building a culture of intolerance, a culture of suppression, a culture of corruption, and all of those cultures are what are going to determine what is going to happen in 2022. And lastly, oil will also be shaped by economy. And I'm afraid to say, I'm sorry to say, Ugandans have stopped thinking because of oil. But in my view, in 2022, oil is going to be surpassed. Oil is already passé as an economy. Even the main oil-producing countries are moving to something else. We are in a post-oil economy. And Uganda had better get ahead of that, instead of thinking that oil is going to be the thing that will release us from all our ills. So oil is passé, and we need to get our brains out of this oil pot, thinking that everything is going to come from oil. I want to end with a warning that given the constitution that we are in, that the Uganda we know, or the Uganda as we know it, is not going to survive the next 10 years. And that, for me, is the real problem. And that, for me, is the question that we must be addressing today. Thank you very much.